Kyle Larson's weekend sweep denied in controversial fashion, but don't tell that to Cory Heim, who had an even worse weekend to start Homestead. Plus, Hendrick Motorsports and Hooters have settled out of court. Welcome back to the Breaking Bob channel. Hope y'all are doing well. It's the post-Xfinity edition recap as Kyle Larson not in victory lane, but we'll get to that. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Always talking NASCAR and motorsports on a daily basis here. And let's just jump right into it, because although he won the Friday night truck race in crazy fashion, spin to win, they were calling it, Kyle Larson not in victory lane for the Xfinity Homestead race on Saturday. No, that's Justin Allgaier, and well, it looked like he was going to be. He lapped dang near half the field. There were 6 cars on the lead lap with 10 laps to go. But the guy that ended up winning, Justin Allgaier, was 20 seconds behind the leader, Kyle Larson, with 4 laps to go. But a caution came out in true NASCAR fashion. Once everyone pitted and everything cycled out, Kyle Larson cycled out. Started on the bottom. I was a little surprised that Austin Hill on the top with the overtime restart. And Sam Mayer got a little too antsy. He even said in his post-race interview, I got a little too excited there, was waiting for Kyle Larson to go. Kyle Larson waited on the restart box till the very end to go. And once he tried to throttle up, Sam Mayer's bumper was under his car, got under the tires to where it couldn't actually get any grip, spun the tires, and Kyle Larson's weekend sweep is over. Kyle Busch is still going to be the only driver as of now to sweep all 3 national series at the NASCAR level, although Larson is racing at Bristol in a few weeks as well. Frustrating for Kyle Larson, though, but on the other hand, Justin Allgaier's been on the wrong side of so many of these restarts. It was nice to see him get rewarded for that, although he did win, of course, last week at Las Vegas as well. Still, the main story is Kyle Larson dominating today, and that Hendrick car is number 17 for Hendrick Motorsports, although prepped a little bit by Junior Motorsports. Regardless, very frustrating for Kyle Larson fans. Although the people saying how this is Mickey Mouse, it's so NASCAR, are they the same ones that saying, well, Kyle Larson spun last night, drove his way up through the field, and Cory Heim's engine literally shut off 3 different times to let him even get into the race? Understand that's a mechanical thing and not, this caution coming out, but that's racing. It's a luck-based sport a lot of times. Not the dominant car doesn't win a lot of times. It's not the 1980s anymore. And I think as fans, we still kind of get in that mentality, well, the dominant car doesn't win every week. How? This is how. Last night, Larson had a dominant truck for sure, but when he spun out, he was at the back of the pack with, I think, 40 laps to go in that last green flag cycle. And it took Cory Heim's truck literally dying multiple times for him to even catch up. He even admitted in the post-race interview, I think I would have gotten to second, but I don't think I would have caught in Cory Heim. Now, for Kyle Larson, again, it's going to be frustrating because it wasn't his fault that restart was him spinning the tires. It was Sam Mayer getting antsy and taking him out. A 4th place finish for Larson. Mayer still gets the second that he probably would have finished if that race had gone green. I get the frustration from Larson fans, but again, it comes and goes. Last night with the truck race is a perfect example of he probably wouldn't have won unless the luck went his way. Today, the luck didn't go his way with an ill-timed caution. That's just modern-day NASCAR, whether you like it or not. And again, I'm not condoning what Sam Mayer did. Sam Mayer is now a veteran in the Xfinity Series. He is auditioning for Cup Series rides at this point now with the Haas factory team. That's a moment that he needs to take and look in the mirror and say, I can't have that again. This is a learning step for him. Again, this is the Xfinity Series. It is a developmental series like the Truck Series. It's going to happen. This is why a lot of guys don't get this weekend sweep or don't even attempt it. There's just so much that has to go right. So for Kyle Busch to do it twice at Bristol is very impressive. Again, Larson will be attempting Bristol later in the season. But let me know your thoughts down below. The Kyle Larson Friday night win, Saturday night almost win. It was impressive to watch him dog walk the field, even if the race itself wasn't very entertaining. But again, that's NASCAR. That's racing in general. And I talked about Cory Heim and his truck literally shutting off multiple times in the end of Stage 3 at the Truck Series race Friday night. He had the fastest truck, the fastest car on Saturday, didn't win. That's racing. But Cory Heim, just what a horrible, horrible Friday and Saturday at Homestead for the young driver. The Toyota development driver signed to 23-11 in the developmental role. His truck has issues on Friday night, finishes, I believe, 3rd, maybe 4th. I have to double check. But then on Saturday, he's in the Sam Hunt Racing 24 entry, and his car has mechanical issues that ends his day early in Stage 2. Man, the kid just can't catch a break, it just seems like. I know he has already won in the Truck Series level this year, but It just seems like Cory Heim is snake bitten more often than not for as much speed as he has at the Truck Series level. And then, with the Sam Hunt Racing, I get it's not Joe Gibbs Racing equipment, but I just I feel bad for him at times, and I almost have to wonder, with him reportedly not being a Cup Series driver for 2311 and 2026, even though he signed with them long term, what is his future look like with Toyota? Should we be worried about somebody stealing him? I know Ford doesn't have a lot of people in the pipeline, but potentially somebody at Ford or Chevy has an opening, and yeah, that's a great driver to put in there. I think we can all agree that Connor Zilisch is the #1 Cup Series prospect in the pipeline for the NASCAR level. But after that, you could argue that Cory Heim is #2, and I would probably agree that he's the #2 driver. Everything he has been in, he's shown speed, and even in limited drives in the Cup Series, whether it's for Legacy Motor Club or 2311, I've been impressed with what I've seen. So for Cory Heim to not really have a Cup Series path up until 2027, it just seems hard to believe. And again, the NASCAR world changes every single day. There's going to be some domino effect, I'm sure, that'll land him in the Cup Series sooner than later. But I just have to wonder, with weekends like this, it's got to frustrate him that there's no real pathway to Joe Gibbs Racing with his issues with Ty Gibbs. What does his future look like with Toyota? Maybe I'm just overthinking it after a rough weekend for the young driver. And as for the Cup Series, tomorrow at Homestead, Alex Bowman on the Cup, his first intermediate track pole. He has won a few super speedway ovals, but this is the first time he's won on an intermediate track at Homestead, no less. Looked like it was going to be Noah Gragson for the longest. He laid down a great lap and looked like he was going to break the longest drought for manufacturers at a track for a pole. Ford hasn't had a pole at Homestead since Carl Edwards in 2011. Hard to believe, but Noah Gragson looking like he was going to be on pole. Then Alex Bowman gets the clouds to come down late in the qualifying session for him to lay down a good lap. Josh Berry followed Bowman with a P2. He'll be on the front row after winning at Las Vegas last weekend. So timely weather gets those guys out on the front row there. But Alex Bowman leading the field to green. But Noah Gragson knocking on the door there for his first career pole, and nearly the first pole for Ford at Homestead, but alas, not to be. And before we get out of here, Hendrick Motorsports and Hooters settled out of court after a long court battle. The team and the restaurant franchise split quickly in the middle of the 2024 season, in I believe it was June month there before the Nashville race. It's reported Hooters isn't doing well financially, and I guess this was one of the cuts that they really had to do, although they were signed to be a primary sponsor for Chase Elliott 3 races in 2024, as well as a associate sponsor for the whole season. Again, they cut that deal abruptly. They settled out of court for $900,000, originally scheduled to pay $1.75 million. They got off a little bit easy there, almost a 50% off discount, but I guess a 50% off discount at the risk of going broke. Not a great deal in the long run there. Although they finally got back into victory lane with Chase Elliott in the Texas race back in April of 2024. They finally broke through a 30-year streak going back to Alan Kulwicki back in the 90s. So at least we got to send off Hooters with one last memory with Chase Elliott in victory lane. We won't see them back with Hendrick Motorsports, it sounds like, after this settlement. But again, Kyle Larson's weekend sweep stalls out in the Xfinity series at Homestead. Cory Heim, just a tough weekend. What do you think his future looks like? Plus, the Hendrick Motorsports and Hooters saga is finally over. If you like what you saw, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Breaking Bob for more NASCAR content. Of course, I'll be covering the post-race from the Cup Series at Homestead tomorrow night. Stay tuned for that. Again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.